All right, here we are. Another discussion. We have recurring guest Rob, and we have our new guest, which you'll see in the corner up here, my friend John. This is his debut on the channel.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Say something. Hi, I'm John. I don't have a webcam, so it's gonna be, I assume, a picture or something like that. I don't really know what's being shown right now.
Wait, John, name something right now you want him to use as a picture, and then that's what you should use, James. Just something random.
Well, he would have to set it as his picture. I can't do it.
Oh, okay. I assumed you'd be doing it in post-process.
Oh, sorry. There's no, this channel doesn't have the money for that. But John is represented by this circle that says boring in it that lights up when he talks. So, but he will make up with it. He will make up for it with his vast video game knowledge. No pressure.
Sure.
So
what are we gonna be talking about today, James?
well, John, we are going to be talking about the Electronics Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles.
E3? That's not until next month.
It's true. It's not until next month, but as you've stated, they have released the floor plan, and they've started sending out emails, as I've seen on Twitter, to game journalists. So it seems like the ball has started rolling. It seems like a lot of announcements are going to be coming out fairly soon because that stuff tends to get leaked or announced before E3 even begins, really. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun to make some predictions, do some discussion.
Sounds fantastic. Absolutely. And Judges Week is actually going on this next week. It starts next week. So that's all, NDA'd stuff, but that's demos that people who are like actually video game journalists get to actually go and play the games before they're announced and stuff like that. So
You mean
yeah,
not just influencers, but actual journalists?
Well, I actually don't know who gets to go to that kind of thing. I would assume that probably influencers do as well.
Probably the bigger ones, yes. Influencers, are you familiar with that term, Rob?
Influencers?
Yeah, it's...
No, I'm not. Are you referring to people like, example, like YouTube people, or?
Yeah, it's just anyone who has a big social media presence, basically.
Okay.
Who isn't anyone who's in new media, as opposed to old media. That's how I would describe it.
Right. Okay. So
there's a lot of blending, though, I would say.
These days, yeah.
There's a lot of in between of it's like, well, are they a journalist or are they an influencer? But
yeah, like for me, like Super Bunny Hop is a really good example of someone who like really straddles the line between those two.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think,
No.
they get a bad rap, but yeah, they're valuable sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm addicted to that shit. But Jean took the liberty of making us a very comprehensive list here of everything we're going to be talking about, or every game that's going to be at E3. I'm sure we'll...
No, that's completely incorrect. Everything we could talk about.
Yeah, everything we could. I'm sorry. I was going to correct
talk
myself.
about everything.
I was going to correct myself there. Sorry. Yeah, so we're not going to be talking about everything on here because that would take 4 hours. Yeah. He started the list with Electronic Arts, who I believe are they going to be the first conference?
Yeah,
Okay.
the conferences are in order of what I assume is their appearance.
Perfect. Good job. So, first up we've got BioWare's new game, and that's coming out of Edmonton because they do have multiple studios. They have a Montreal studio as well.
Not anymore.
Pardon? Oh yeah, they got shut down after Andromeda, didn't it?
They still have Austin though, which does the MMO.
Okay, which MMO?
Knights of the Old the Old Republic. I don't remember.
Right. For some reason, I thought that was made in Edmonton. I mean, I'm sure they worked on it too, but yeah. Yeah, the Old Republic. I played that game. I bought that game when it came out. But yeah, so we saw Anthem last year. I was pretty impressed. I mean, I'm not a fan of those like fake gamer chatter videos.
That was so awesome.
But I mean, it looks great. I mean,
checking on my Ranger this time.
But I mean, did you happen to see that video, Rob?
No, I didn't know. I was actually thinking what I might do, because there's a lot I haven't seen here. I might just have a look at some screenshots and stuff while,
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, the Anthem, the video's up on YouTube too. I mean, it's basically you get an Iron Man suit and you can fly around, and it's like an alien jungle. And in the demo, they like go from like flying through the air to like diving underwater and just like exploring.
That sounds pretty awesome. Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen this. Yes, I have
Oh, you
seen
have?
this.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
this-
very much Electronic Arts' Destiny. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much so.
third person and with mechs.
It looks great.
It does look interesting for sure. Yeah. I was pretty excited when I saw the demo. I saw some potential there. I don't really have much else to say about that game though.
It was. I was very surprised to see it there last year. It seems like it's going to be out not this year, but they're
I
hoping
doubt
for early next year.
Mhm.
It's a game that people feel like, BioWare's future is kind of riding on this game. If it is a failure, then maybe it doesn't exist anymore, which would be very sad for me because I'm a huge fan of that studio. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of watching this game, but be interested to see like what they bring more, because I think they're really going to have to sell people.
Yeah, I think so. Just because people are very wary of EA right now.
Yeah.
I don't. Is that game?
And what Destiny is like fallen to,
That's- yeah.
not.
Yeah, Destiny's had some bad press too, for sure. Now that I don't remember if they said this game was going to have microtransactions.
It almost certainly.
Doesn't that seem kind of likely?
Well, I could
I
swear
can't
there was a
imagine
big story.
almost any game we talk about is not going to have
True, yes.
microtransactions.
I could swear I remember there being a story, either one way or the other, that like either definitely wasn't or definitely was going to have them, but I can't remember which. But yeah, I keep accidentally doing that. I keep accidentally. That doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. There's the possibility of Dragon Age 4 happening as well. Maybe.
I don't think they'll do it, but it was just something that people are working on in that studio. I think they've been pulled off probably to work on this project.
Probably, yeah. So there's that, and I would also be very sad to see BioWare go because I've only really been following them since the first Knights of the Old Republic came out. I didn't really even know they existed before that, but they have a very storied history in making RPGs. I mean, they've made some really classic games over the years, so it would be sad to see them go.
For sure.
Yeah. And
Can I add something to your thing about microtransactions here? Because I just
Certainly.
looked it up real quick. It looks like it says that. Hold on. It says that the microtransactions are potentially going to be like Overwatch.
Okay, so it's gonna be like loot boxes,
Yeah,
but aesthetic or not aesthetic.
loot boxes. Yeah, but it doesn't seem like it's confirmed. But that's just what was said.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I could get on it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's cosmetic only, maybe. It's possible. It seems like publishers are starting to go towards that, except EA, though, because Battlefront 2 was...
Right. I think people got scared after the reaction of Battlefront 2. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of studios were rethinking what they were going to be doing.
Yeah, that seems to be what the general feeling is in the industry. It's just like apprehension about bringing out any more of this stuff after the way people just tore apart EA over Battlefront 2. So I guess we'll see. And speaking of DICE, we have Battlefield 5, which is not at all the fifth Battlefield game, but apparently apparently that's what most people think it's going to be called, I think. Or
I think it's like maybe they're going with like V for victory. It's supposed to be a World War II era game, maybe.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that makes sense after Battlefield 1 and after the success of COD World War II. Or, I'm sorry, WW2. Okay, I gotta get it right. Gotta get that title right.
exactly.
Again, I've honestly barely played Battlefield. The last one I actually put much time into was Bad Company 2, and there's actually a rumor this might be a sequel to that.
And it's pretty like, it seems maybe like there might be 2 Battlefields in development. They obviously have done that before with Visceral working on Hardline.
Mm-hmm.
DICE is a huge studio, and like EA is pretty tough to nail down because they have so many studios. Like they're like Ubisoft that way that like you can't
Yeah.
keep track of them all. There's so many of them.
Yeah, they're huge. So it's hard to pin down exactly what they're working on and who's working on it. And obviously we've got Madden and NBA. NBA Live is not a yearly series like Madden is. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is with the NBA Live series, but it seems like they've been having some problems the last few years.
They've been trying, like it seems like one of them was canceled late development, one of them went to mobile for a while. They're just not nearly as popular as 2K. I think they put a lot of money into it, and they've just never been able to win back that audience.
Yeah, I was gonna say though, like after the reception that the last NBA 2K got, they could potentially take some market share away there because there was a lot of microtransactions in that game too. In NBA
It's true.
18.
But I would say that I think that game probably sold as well or better than any other NBA. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. I just don't. I don't have faith.
My brother-in-law and my buddies play that game. They say it's really good, and
Yeah, the animations in that game are amazing.
yeah, it looks really nice from what I've seen.
I can't remember what I was gonna say now. Damn. But yeah, I was gonna say like, and like I hear about people being mad about the microtransactions in these games, but I mean we live in a bubble where like the enthusiasts complain about stuff that like most people just don't care about. In fact, most people will gladly spend money on this stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to get in that mindset of like, oh, people are so upset. It's
Yeah.
gonna burn, and then it's like, oh, it's sold better than FIFA sold better than any other FIFA or something like that.
Mhm.
Just
And yeah, we've also got FIFA and NHL, the standard yearly entries. And then I guess there may be another Star Wars game coming.
so that's Visceral Studios was shut down last year. They were working on a project with
Amy Hennig?
Uncharted director Amy Hennig, thank you. And after it was shut down, they were like, yeah, this project is we're going to be doing something with this project going forward, and EA Vancouver will be leading that team, but I don't know if we'll ever see that. It doesn't really seem like there was almost anything of that game made, right? Like
From what I read about
it seemed like there were
it.
just vertical slices, and that was it.
Yeah, they basically had just made demos of the game and not actual game. Like they had just made like nice looking demos to make the game look really cool, but nothing that actually was substantial. So yeah, that could be a ways off still. I think there was a Vancouver studio that's working on it now, isn't there?
Yes, EA Vancouver is working on it.
Oh, they're just
They're a
called
big,
EA Vancouver.
really big studio. They're doing FIFA and NHL as well.
Oh, you literally wrote
They-
EA Vancouver right there too.
Yeah, they were working on a Plants vs Zombie game that got canceled, and
Really?
so late last year they came in to help Visceral, and I remember something I read that like they were like horrified by how little progress had been made on the game.
Damn. It sucks too because the game sounded really ambitious. Like even if it was all concept, it sounded really cool. It was a cool
Yeah.
idea. It was basically like
Like sell it to an executive board though, and it's like,
True.
hey, you play through once and then you're done. Like that's not going to play well to EA board members.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool that it had like the aspect of like having this team of mercenaries and having like wasn't it like randomized missions kind of like it was almost like a procedurally generated kind of.
That seems more like like
No?
concept that I don't know that would ever play out. But I didn't really
It's
hear
true,
about that.
yeah.
I just heard about the party members, and yeah, they had tons of problems.
It was definitely more concept than anything. So I mean, it's hard to say whether that would have actually worked. I know Ken Levine had an idea for basically like a narrative-based game that was different every time. That kind of had randomized elements as well, and that I still haven't heard anything about that in years. So I don't know.
Yeah, what's Levine working on?
He went off and made his own company after Irrational Games made BioShock Infinite.
Right. That was like so many years ago. Though.
Yeah, and now like I think he's like making a movie actually Now that I think about it, I think he's actually involved with some big Hollywood movie. Um, and I think Irrational Games also changed their name again for some reason. I don't remember what to. Um, anyway, we also have a few other potential EA games. A new Titanfall maybe from Respawn. I guess there's a rumor that Respawn might be working on a Star Wars game.
It's not a rumor. They showed it 2 years ago. Stig Asmussen is the director. He worked on God of War 2. Like 2 years ago, they showed like a bunch of Star Wars concept videos in their press conference, and it was like Stig was like directing some actors to like hit each other with sticks, basically.
Okay.
Like, look, you got working on a game. Since then, you've heard that project has come very far, very quickly, and so I want to say that I think that it's for sure going to be there, but I don't know. Respawn is also working on a VR game that is not being published by EA. They were just acquired by EA last year, so
Right. Yeah.
I don't know where their priorities lie.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say what kind of Star Wars game it's going to be? Like,
I think people I just assume based on like their previous work, but it's very hard to go off of it's like they're making a Star Wars game. Look, they're hitting each other with sticks. I guess there's gonna be lightsabers in it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And I mean,
and maybe it's gonna be God of War like.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously wouldn't be like Titanfall because that would be too much like Battlefront. So.
Right.
I doubt they want to make another shooter anyway. They've been making them for a long time. I don't know why, but I don't know if it's just like the underdog quality that Respawn kind of has, because they're like all the guys that have fought against EA over the Modern Warfare 2 bullshit. But I'm really pulling for Respawn for some reason. I don't know. I'd like to see them succeed, and I really liked Titanfall. I thought it was a great idea for a game.
I think people really like Titanfall too. People really
Yeah,
like the single player and everything like that.
I honestly didn't get that far in the single player. I did like it. I loved the multiplayer, but nobody plays it anymore, which sucks.
Yeah. I just think that it was it came out right in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and it was right in the middle of that, and it just got crushed. So
Yeah, that'll happen. I guess there's a new Need for Speed game, which is kind of a given as well.
I just put it on here. It's stupid. It's this it's this game being developed for a Chinese audience. It's like an online game. It's just something that I thought oh, maybe they're planning to do more of this stuff. Get into that everything is online and almost semi MMO-ish era. It feels very Destiny, but in cars seemingly.
Okay. That's
Everything is
Destiny with
It's online.
cars. So when you describe something as being like Destiny, would you say it's because it has a social space for people to congregate in, like World of Warcraft did?
I wouldn't quite say it's like that. I think what I think about is something that they expect you to come back to.
Okay.
That you can partner up with people, and there's going to be updates and you don't necessarily have to pay a subscription fee.
Right,
I think
okay.
that model.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, China gets tons of free online versions of games that we don't even see. There's a Call of Duty Battle Royale game in China that nobody else gets access to.
so random.
Yeah.
I just want that sweet Mario Sunshine HD. Oh no, it was Galaxy HD that
On the
got
Tegra? Is that what you mean? Or not on the Shield, right?
on the Shield, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up actually, but I figured I'd wait until the Nintendo part. But they've got GameCube games running on an NVIDIA Shield in China. It's the same processor as a Switch. It's a Tegra. So
I remember you mentioning that.
So why are there no GameCube games coming to the Switch yet? What is up with that? Anyway, that's more for the Nintendo part, I guess.
That was a teaser, everyone.
There you go. I don't know what Sea of Solitude is either.
It was just it's part of their EA Indies project. It was just the screenshots I looked at were you're in a rowboat. It's kind of 3D. It's low poly.
Okay.
Looks kind of cool. Very much in the same vein of Unravel and Faye, which came out earlier this year. You know,
So the Fae was a very strange game. I don't know if you've seen footage of that much, but like that game's like that's like one of the more artsy fartsy games I think I've ever seen in my life.
I really wanted to play it actually when I
I mean,
saw a review for it.
I don't think it looks bad. It's just like very much like you can tell that's an indie game just by looking at it and like watching it in motion.
Yeah. So it's strange that Electronic Arts has this like policy where it's like they're making, you know, like or publishing these like indie games and not making any money off of it. Like all of that goes to the developer, which is cool.
That is cool.
It just feels like after they got named the worst company in the world, they were like, yeah, let's do something that makes us seem less worse than
in
that.
America, not in the world. Let's not go crazy. And yeah, we've also got Motive and PopCap here. We don't really know what they're doing though, but I'm sure they're working on something.
It's gonna be good. And I have no idea what they're doing with that studio. It's been a long time since Garden Warfare 2. And yeah, Criterion and Motive, we don't really know what they're working on. They're no longer helping with Battlefront 2. I don't really think they're probably going to be on Battlefield duty either, so they could be working on something. What was that game that Criterion just worked on? DHD just came out.
Burnout Paradise. EA's first remaster.
Exactly. It could be, maybe they'll be turned into the remaster studio or something.
Oh, that would suck. Let's just remaster every Burnout game.
That seems like a thing that could happen.
People love Burnout.
Yeah, sure.
I've really only played Burnout 2 and Paradise very much. I think those were supposed to be the best ones anyway.
Yeah, I think they're all, except that weird top-down one, are all...
Oh yeah, that was like an XBLA game or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they did like a spiritual successor to Burnout, but it was only like the one mode in it, so it like apparently got old really fast.
Yeah, it wasn't them though.
It was like former employees, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember what that game is called. It's not Wreckfest. That's a different game. I can't remember what it was called.
I think that's Bugbear's new game, the guys that made Flat Out.
New game that's been in development for like 1,000 years now.
But yeah, that's pretty much all that EA is likely to show. Sorry about that little ding there. Next, we'll move on to Microsoft, I suppose. They're the next.
I'm excited for Microsoft,
conference.
man. They get the most exciting rumors, I think.
I haven't been excited for a Microsoft conference in a while, but they've. Sorry, but it's true.
I agree. It's okay.
But they've been making some really good strides these last couple of years with backwards compatibility and with the Game Pass, and like now that they're the underdog, they actually seem to be doing a lot of pro-consumer stuff that Nintendo and Sony aren't. So
got to catch up somehow.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that they're actually focusing on hardware again when they were like the power of the cloud, the power of the cloud. Like they just completely abandoned that.
Well, I think when Crackdown 3 took like 5 years to come out, they were like, well, maybe the cloud's not as powerful as we thought.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's good when one of them are suffering a little bit because it forces them to kind of
that's
really be more user friendly, right?
So it forced Sony
I totally
to
agree with you, Rob.
One of the good things about the console wars.
Exactly, that's the competition. If the console wars are any indication, it's that competition is always a good thing for the consumer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Comcast. Sorry. But yeah, Microsoft. The only sure thing we have here is Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which is a 2D platformer with beautiful hand-drawn visuals. I really liked the first game.
Never played it. It's they got a new game coming out. It was like the only one that I could really think of like that is for sure gonna be there. I don't know if it's even supposed to be coming out this year, but I just can't imagine it not being in their press conference.
It does look beautiful.
They did have a trailer for it last year. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just looking at it. This looks like a really beautiful game.
Oh, I know, right? And the gameplay is just as good. Like it controls amazingly. Like it feels like a Nintendo developed platformer. Like that's the highest praise I can give something as far as I'm concerned.
It's kind of got like a cartoony kind of look to it.
It does, yeah. It
Cool.
very much feels like Metroid to me, actually.
Oh wow.
It's interesting you mentioned that. There was something last year that they had hired the person who made the another Metroid 2 remake
Really?
was hired to work on this game.
Wow,
Wow.
that's pretty crazy.
I'm glad somebody hired those guys.
Yeah,
Nintendo
I think
should
one
have.
of them. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's the whole team, but
Hmm. Yeah.
that
Well,
looks like a cool game.
yeah, it looks great. I held off way too long on getting Ori and the Blind Forest. I didn't get it until like at least a year or so after it came out, but I was very impressed.
You guys ever play Child of Light? It looks like it reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's
it's a whole game.
that was an Ubisoft game. Yeah, I got that on the Wii U actually.
Yeah, I have it too.
And that was another very nice looking hand drawn game. Yeah. But this game is like, I would say this game even looks better than that.
Oh, it's on a totally different level. Yeah, it looks great.
And like the opening of the first Ori and the Blind Forest, of the first Ori game, Ori and the Blind Forest, it will like make you cry. Like it's so sad.
I'm so looking forward to my eventual playthrough of that game.
You'll have to play that eventually as well.
Hmm. We also have obviously there's going to be a new Halo game. Well, not obviously, but there's likely going to be a new Halo game, and I'm sure it'll be Halo 6. Potentially a spin-off as well, or.
I kind of put that down. There was footage leaked of this, like, oh god, you guys are gonna have to help me out. It's a competitor to Lego, and it's blocks.
Oh, I know this. Is it Mega Bloks?
Mega Blocks.
I used to
There
have
was
like a
Mega
dinosaur,
Block.
a Triceratops made of Mega Bloks when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
There was this Mega Bloks Halo game that got leaked, like
Really?
30 minutes of footage or whatever. I don't think it was that long, actually, because I think it was just a prototype. That got leaked, and like people were really positive about it. They were like, "That game looks really cool. It's too bad it didn't come out." It was right around the Xbox One coming out, and so there's been rumors since that they're looking to do more with Halo than just like Halo 5, Halo 6,
Yeah.
or even like ODST, like that kind of thing. Like they kind of want to do it in different directions. I guess
Yeah.
Halo Wars is that.
I was going to mention Halo Wars, yeah, but that book you recommended me, though, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, it really went into like how Bungie was so very protective of their franchise and of their IP, though.
Too bad, because it's gone now.
That is true. Actually, I didn't even think. It's too, Bungie doesn't even own Halo anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Microsoft with 343 is just like, you are going to let other people work on this, and they're like, yes, sir. Because they literally were formed by Microsoft to make Halo games. So like,
I like Bonnie Ross though. I'm excited for that studio. I know Halo 5 was not beloved, but
never played it.
I'm kind of go get them, guys. You can do it. Get them on the next time.
And like, apparently they're finally fixing the Master Chief Collection after like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Well, better late than never.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah. We also have, I'm sure, some kind of Minecraft content. We won't really know what that's going to be.
They're always in the press conference.
Yeah, I mean, it's too big a game not to talk about in some capacity.
Sure.
I just thought it was hilarious when they announced the Xbox One X, and they were like, we're going to have all this crazy, awesome 4K graphics. And then they were like, check it out, it's Minecraft with shaders. It's like, this is what you use.
Come on. Even the power of the cloud could not possibly have shaders in Minecraft.
So yeah, there's. I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of content pack or update for that. I don't know. I've still really never played that much Minecraft in my life.
Switch version is really cool.
Just played with my little brother. That's all.
I honestly, like, I didn't think much of that Switch version with the Mario level, and then I saw footage of it, and I was like, oh my god, like they went all out on this. Like, holy shit. Like, it looks awesome. There's like a level, there's like a part of the world devoted to each Mario game. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's it's the kind of thing that you blow off until you see. It's like, wait a minute, how many characters can I be? Wait a minute, what?
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
they
I
recreated the
also-
entire Super Mario World map?
I thought about getting it for the Switch, but and ended up not doing it, but I might have to reconsider that.
Just check a 5 minutes of a video just going through it, Rob. It's pretty
Yeah.
pretty ridiculous. It looks like it was just like, okay, the next 5 years, all I'm doing is making this level.
They must have just had like a team of people. Just
Yeah, I'm sure they are very used to doing that kind of thing. I think they're a big company too. So.
yeah. Um, there's also, I mean, there's this development studio that I don't even remember when this development studio came into existence. They're called the Coalition. I guess that's a reference to Gears of War. I guess they took over after Epic finished their trilogy, right?
Quadrilogy? No, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of what was the other one? There was a
Judgment.
fourth game. Yes.
And I don't know who it was made by. I think it was made by People
Yeah.
Can Fly, maybe?
Yeah,
That sounds-
Ready at Dawn or something like that. Something like that. You're on the right track with that. I can't remember who made that, but
I feel like it
Yeah,
might have been People Can Fly.
okay, I believe you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Just they made Coalition has only made one game. They made The Last Years, which I think was pretty well received. Not great, but I don't think Years has ever sort of been great. Maybe since the first one. And yeah, they're the big Canadian studio, and they were Gears of War was one of the games on the Walmart Canada leaked games list. I don't
Was
know
that
if you've seen-
Canada? I did see that list. I didn't realize it was Walmart Canada.
Yeah, it was.
There was a
So-
bunch of games on there. Yeah, there was like Just Cause 4.
Exactly. Which is on my list, so if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it might happen. I don't know what else to say about it. I liked Just Cause 3 a lot more than critics did, that's for sure. I fucking love that game. Like, I don't understand why that game did not get a good reception, because I thought it pretty much improved on the second one in every way.
I think
Not
it
every
was.
way, but most ways.
I just think that maybe the people thought that the leap was not great. That that still the story was and it had a lot of technical problems. I agree with you though. I think that game got too short of a shrift.
I would say, yeah, but when I tried to get the PC version, it did not run well, and I refunded it. And then I ended up getting it on PlayStation Plus instead. And really the only thing I can complain about is that you have to like connect to their servers just to play single player, and it's like pretty slow sometimes. That's really my only complaint, though. And it's still possible to play offline. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. And I guess they might be making a Perfect Dark as well, the Coalition. There's a rumor?
So that's I mean, that's why Microsoft rumors are pretty exciting. Is that like people are like, we don't know who's doing stuff, but like we think there's Perfect Dark stuff, we think there's Fable stuff, like, and people. So Perfect Dark has kind of been attributed to two different studios. It seems like Coalition is one. Another one is this Electric Square project. Sorry, I think the company's just called Electric Square.
Okay.
And Perfect Dark is a really cool first game. I never played a second of the second game, but I know it was not beloved. And they kind of just threw it in the trash, and so it would be nice to see them do something with that again.
So Microsoft owns all those Rare franchises, right? All those IP.
I mean, they don't own Donkey Kong Country.
You know what I mean? Everything but Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
Many
like
of them,
pop-up and
yes.
stuff.
And do they also own? I lost my train of thought. Damn it! Oh, they own Fable, right? Like Lionhead did not own Fable. Microsoft does, right?
Lionhead Studios was owned by Microsoft, but they shut it down last year. Yes, they own Fable.
Was Lionhead always owned by Microsoft?
I think it was probably purchased. Feels like a
okay.
purchase because that was Peter Molyneux studio at the time, and obviously went to work on that game that was never a game for Kinect. It was just nonsense.
And then there
F you,
was,
Molyneux.
and then there was all that ridiculous stuff with that game Goddess. Do you remember that?
God. I don't even want to talk. The stupid cube thing where you tap the cube and it's like, you're going to become God of Gods. It's like, we're never going to talk to you again.
Oh yeah, they like totally just like the guy who won it. They like didn't even like communicate with him or anything, and he was just like, "Yo, what's the deal? Like you promised me all this stuff."
Apparently he went to the studio and they were all like terrible to him as well. And so it's just a terrible story. Peter
Wow.
Molyneux, I'm happy that you are out of the industry, basically.
Yeah. That guy was like the king of just like hyping games up with just lies upon lies.
It worked on me so many times. You don't know how excited I was for stupid black and white.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I've ever played that game actually.
Yeah, you're fine while playing it, I think.
Yeah, okay. And then I guess there might be. This says Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon Japan.
So the rumor is that the next Forza Horizon game will take place in Japan.
Oh, okay.
So it's an open world Forza. The last one was in Australia with Hugh Jackman, and this one is rumored to be in Japan. Basically,
That would be. Cool.
They're on an every other year schedule with Turn 12.
Right.
I think
Turn 10 actually.
Called Turn 10. Sorry. And who just put out Forza last year, so we won't be seeing anything of them.
What was the?
But they also Playground Games that make Forza Horizon have really hired up in the last year, and they've opened a second studio. So the other rumor is that they will be working on another open world game, and that would be Fable.
That would be pretty cool. I wonder if
reboot Fable. Not a game that I've really put much time into, but I don't know if either of you have.
So I watched somebody who you know very well, John, or knew very well anyway. I watched him play a lot of the first Fable. That's really my only experience with that series.
Okay.
I watched a friend of mine play a little bit of it too. I have never played through it either.
So when you say open world, do you mean like? I mean, I guess from what I remember, the other Fable games seem to be kind of open world. I guess more in like a Zelda kind of way. Is this more of like a, I don't know, Dragon Age
this seems to
3
be.
kind of way?
It seems to be like Witcher. I think that's kind
Witcher,
of what they wanted. It's like, oh, Witcher's good. Make that.
Yeah. And where was the first Forza Horizon set? Was that just the U.S.?
It was Colorado, I believe. No, sorry. I think the second one was Colorado. I think the first one was like Spain.
Oh, there's been 3 now?
Yeah.
Shows what I know. The only time I've ever paid attention to that series is the Hot Wheels DLC, and I still haven't played it, but that looks pretty cool.
So cool. I want to play it so bad, but I haven't got around to it.
Well, I don't have Windows 10, and I don't plan on getting it anytime soon, and I don't have an Xbox One, so...
That's also a huge hurdle for me as well.
Yeah. I tried using Windows 10 at work. They made me go on a Windows 10 computer, and I was just like, this is awful. like, where's the calculator? I can't find the freaking calculator. Like, what is this?
I'm not really a big fan of Mac either, but no, having seen and used Windows 10, it's not so bad.
It's better than 8, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God.
Anyway, so that
Windows 10.
That's actually pretty exciting. I'm super interested in both of those. A Forza in Japan and a new Fable game would, especially from that studio, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Phil Spencer has talked a lot about like building up studios, like giving them the resources and building them up. I think Playground is the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
You know, that just like has slowly built up to making great games.
And,
you know.
Yeah, Phil Spencer I find very likable, especially after Don Matrick. That guy, I feel like that guy will never work in the industry again after that.
He probably will in the in front of the camera
well, yeah.
part.
Didn't he go to work for like some like big social game maker on like cell phones, like what? Like King or something?
No, it wasn't King. Shoot, you're right though. It was like what is the Finnish one that makes Angry Birds?
Rovio.
Was it Rovio that he went to?
Or
something like that.
What's the one that owns OMG Pop? The one that made Words with Friends. Oh, Zynga. I think it was Zynga.
Yes, it was Zynga. It was totally Zynga. Yeah, you're totally right.
Who the fuck has heard anything about Zynga lately?
He left at a certain point in time. He left. I don't remember when.
But
Zynga.
Oh, Zynga.
He had resigned in 2015 as Zynga's CEO, effective immediately, and that's the last thing on his Wikipedia article.
Yikes.
Probably swimming in his money bin right now.
Probably, yeah. Now this is exciting. We never thought we'd see this day, but Age of Empires 4 has been announced already.
Yes.
And it's being developed by Relic, who did Warhammer?
Yeah, Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War, that series. They also did Company of Heroes
Oh yeah.
and Halo Wars 2.
Okay, so they've got quite a few RTSs under their belt.
Good Canadian studio.
Nice.
Yeah, Age of Empires. It seems like they kind of threw that, with what the hell was that company's name? Can't remember.
Ensemble.
Just talked about it.
Ensemble?
Yes, Ensemble. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, Ensemble went away, and it was just like, okay, we don't care about PC gaming. Go to hell. And that there was a small studio that just was like, can we just like make Age of Empires 2 HD so people can play it on Steam? And they were like, yeah, okay, go ahead and make that. And then it was like, oh, this is really well.
Popular.
Can we like a little expansion for it? And then like, yeah, it's slowly that built to like, now we'll do Age of Mythology. Now we'll do this, and then eventually, let's just make another one of these.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off there. Yeah, didn't they like they made like a brand new expansion for Age of Empires 2 after like 20 years?
Yeah, I think there's several of them actually. I think there's 3 of them. There's one for Age of Mythology as well.
I guess it was more than 20 years actually. Jeez.
No, I think
I would
Age
20
of
years
Empires
anyway.
2 was 99.
Oh, okay. Memories. I still remember playing the first Age of
Super
Empires.
stoked for Age of Empires 4. Obviously, probably going to be a Windows 10 exclusive, but and for that,
damn it.
I don't think that we'll see it at all. Pretty much in the Microsoft conference. Probably though, we will see it in the PC gaming show.
Right. Yeah.
Conference.
That should be good. Was it the PC gaming show that had like a really irreverent host the one year who like basically acted like he didn't even want to be there? Was that?
No, it's been day 9, all 3 years, and I think he's been really good.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
Could be. There was like Mr. Caffeine. I don't know if you're thinking about him or.
Mr. Caffeine. Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
I can't remember. Jamie Kennedy, I think, hosted one year, and he was really terrible for Activision one year. Yeah.
I remember Devolver Digital did a conference one year, and like everyone was raving about it, and I never watched it, and I really need to go back and watch that.
It was just. It's not a press conference. It's a joke on press conference.
Well, yeah, I know.
It's very funny, though. And it's like 5 minutes long. It's really good.
Oh, I should definitely go back. I'll probably watch that like before E3 this year at some point.
I hope they do something like that again, actually.
Did you hear about Devolver's latest game, by the way? Just to like talk about Devolver for a second. They made a new Super Nintendo game, and it's called Fork Parker's Crunch Out, and it's about crunch culture in the video game industry.
Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah. It was just like a headline, though. I didn't read anything else about it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty great. But yeah, anyway, there's gonna be some kind of PUBG content as well for the Xbox.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
That was it. I don't know. Have they added the maps to that yet?
I don't think on the Xbox actually.
Yeah.
I think just on PC. Yeah, I went back and like watched the Microsoft press conference and the PC gaming show press conference on like super speed. So I was just like, okay, what the hell happened in this press conference? I kind of can't remember. Okay. And like it was so funny. Like I don't remember that guy's name, but the main guy, he's Irish, I think.
Brendan.
Like something. Doing it. Sorry.
You mean Player Unknown? Like Brendan? It's Brendan something. I know that.
Yeah, it is. Totally is.
I think it's Brendan Green, actually. I'm pretty sure his name is Brendan Green with an E on the end.
There's no way it's Green. I would have noticed that.
I swear to God, I like watched an interview with him and I was like, wait a minute, that guy's name is Brendan Green. Yes, Player Unknown is Brendan Green. Inside joke, sorry. High school friend.
Yeah, it's it just got a ton of like, oh boy, here comes PUBG, and like it was at the PC gaming show, and like it was like we got all this stuff, and it feels like since then, like that's the only time PUBG is gonna get that much reverence, basically. Like, I just feel like it's now playing second fiddle, whereas it was big dog.
It's completely eclipsed by Fortnite at this point. I mean, not completely, but pretty much.
Yeah, it is Brendan Green. Yeah, it's Green with an E.
Isn't that weird?
It's weird. How did I not realize that?
It is very weird. So yeah,
Sorry,
you already mentioned.
First name Brendan Green.
Yeah, we both had a close mutual friend with that name. Sorry?
So ex-friend of mine. I guess I haven't talked to him in a very long time. So.
I mean, I haven't either. I don't consider him an ex-friend, but yeah. Anyway.
Ex-friend. No longer friends.
This is how he's going to find out from this video. Nah. And then you mentioned Electric Square.
Yeah.
Armature might be making... I mean, do you think it's going to be a Recore sequel?
It just seemed like they didn't get hit with layoffs after Recore came and went, basically. And there was speculation that there would be another one. I think Phil Spencer said that they would be interested in a sequel to Recore. That's basically it. Like that's why it's on the list.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if you know this, Rob, but Armature is a bunch of former Retro Studios guys. And they made this game that was like, it wasn't super well received at first because it wasn't really finished when it came out. They kind of patched it to finish it kind of thing, which sucks, but like it was very much like a PS2 GameCube style of game. Like it was very like not retro, but like kind of harkening back to a couple of generations ago in its gameplay style. And so that's why I think a lot of people gravitated towards it. Unfortunately, it wasn't super well received because it just was kind of not finished when they released it. They had to patch the game to really finish it.
Wow.
Which is kind of terrible. And
No kidding. Yeah.
They ended up releasing a definitive edition, which is really just the actual finished game, as far as I'm concerned anyway. But they also had Kenji Inafune work on it as well, right?
Yeah, yes, he did. You're totally right about that.
So it's definitely got some potential as a series, I could see. And I mean, people seem to like it. Some people anyway. I know I watch a lot of Giant Bomb, and I know that Brad was very, very into that game. And I like him a lot. I respect his opinion, so I'm probably going to check that game out at some point.
Suck up to Brad.
There's like, I actually want to send Brad Schumacher an email, because there's this guy named Solomon Woodland. He's like a musician who plays in my parents' city, like where my parents live, and he looks exactly like him. Like he's like doppelganger level. It's really weird. Anyway, that's all I've got.
That's an interesting anecdote.
It's not actually that interesting when it comes out of my mouth.
Okay, so we're done 2 press conferences. Let's,
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go into speed mode here.
Okay, MechWarrior 5.
No, we have nothing to talk about MechWarrior 5. It's being made. It's coming out this year. I don't know anything about MechWarrior.
I've played Mech Assault. That's about it. Okay, next we have... I think we'll probably just stick with the big companies, to be completely honest. I just don't want to like run for like 3 hours. And I feel like I keep getting sidetracked. Sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
Yeah, I hope I'm not boring you, Rob.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I just worked, so I'm quite tired, but it's okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. We'll try.
I also didn't know a lot about a lot of those games, so I feel like I didn't have much to add to it. So don't worry, I'll get into it.
All right. Next we have Zenimax, who owns Bethesda, and id, and Arcane,
and a ton of others. Yeah. And I want anyone listening, go look up the ZeniMax board of directors, because it is the craziest thing. I know this is a sidetrack, but you need to go and find out that like Donald Trump's brother is on it, and like Cal Ripken Jr. is on it.
Okay.
And like a bunch of other weird. Jerry Bruckheimer is on it. It's a very strange conglomerate. Of games.
I really want to read this board of directors list now.
That's odd.
So yeah, I mean we've got. I don't know what Starfield is. Oh, is that their rumored? Oh, okay, I know what that is. That's like a sci-fi game that's supposed to tie Elder Scrolls to Fallout, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's
That's so random.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be Fallout in space, but basically it seems like everyone agrees that it exists, but no one can talk about it. Like it's the kind of thing where it's like, I think that people in the industry know that it's real, but the only thing that I've seen to make it a real thing is that there was a 4chan post last year that was supposed to be announced last year. Mm-hmm. Everything else in that 4chan post totally did get announced. Oh. And there was a what is that called when they like take a name so it can't be used for anything else?
Trademark?
Copyright it.
Copyright.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, so there is a trademark for that title. I guess Rage 2 did it get leaked?
It was on the Walmart Canada
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
and
okay.
they've been doing a lot of Twitter stuff since then.
Oh, yeah,
Specifically trying to get you to the date of May 14th, which is
not
a Monday.
far from
I don't
now.
know when you're watching this, so you could be watching this at any time. But
True.
yeah, I'm sure they probably are doing something with that, which is very strange because I think Rage
Yeah.
was not successful.
It wasn't successful. It wasn't really that well received as far as I remember either. Like, it had good graphics. That was really the only thing people had to say about it. And I, the one comment I saw that I liked was like, I just want the light gun game from Breaking Bad.
That's a much better Rage.
And who is Escalation Studios? I'm not familiar with that.
Oh man, I wrote that down and don't remember a thing about it. I think they're a new studio. I think that they just got brought in, but I don't think I really have anything to say.
That's funny because I brought up Chrome and I had already Googled Escalation Studios. They were fun.
I don't think that there's too much more to say here. They have a couple of other Zenimax is a pretty small company in terms of publishing.
Yeah.
And everything they talked about last year is out. It's totally out right now. You can go play
That's true,
it.
yeah.
And so, like, Machine Games just came out with Wolfenstein, Tango Gameworks just came out with Evil Within, Arcane just came out with both Prey and Dishonored: Death of an Outsider. I could maybe see another standalone game like that, maybe for Evil Within or Wolfenstein coming out this year, but I don't expect too much more of them. I do think that Doom is a sure thing, though. I really think that Doom 2 is coming.
Oh, I could see it, yeah. I could also see like the Old Blood style expansion for Wolfenstein 2.
Totally, I totally forgot that they did that. That was the one that was on the moon, or
I don't know. I never played it. I have the original. I don't have the expansion. Sailors on the moon. That's all I ever think of when I hear anything about the moon. Okay, next we have something I'm sure Rob will actually want to talk about, and that's Kingdom Hearts 3. Now we're moving on to Square Enix.
They're having a conference this year.
So Square Enix has never had a press conference before.
That's incorrect. They did 2 years ago, but they
don't every year. Sorry.
15. Not recently though. You're
Okay.
totally right.
Okay. So we've got that as a sure thing because that's supposed to come out this year.
Apparently, yeah. 2018.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's Square, so.
But I mean, like what I heard is that people in the industry like either have played it or are going to play it like this month at a Square event. So it would make sense that it would be coming out this year. If not, probably early next year. I can't imagine it being too much later than that.
They confirmed it's 2018, but they don't have a specific date for it.
Yeah, but I don't trust what it says in the trailer.
Oh, I don't either.
December 30th.
My heart has been broken too many times.
Yeah, it's Square Enix's.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be. It looks great though. I think it looks really good.
Just to point out, this was a game that was announced in 2013.
Oh yeah.
Before the current gen consoles were out, this game was announced. It's still not out.
Yeah.
They have dropped a lot of trailers though, relatively recently, and
Yeah.
it looks like they've.
Seems like it's coming along.
I can't wait to play it. Kingdom Hearts, one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh yeah.
That's a
I'm
series.
really looking forward. I'm really looking forward to that game. It's gonna be fantastic.
It's a series I need to play more. I may just jump in with 3 though, to be honest. I've played 1 and 2, just not enough. Not even close to enough.
Do you know at least the kind of the story of them?
Sora gets sucked into Disney World, and Mickey gets kidnapped, and Sora has to save him.
No.
None of that happens.
No.
I would say it's fine to go in without knowing anything, James. I went into Kingdom Hearts 2 without seeing a second of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay.
And totally lost, but was just like, I accept this. Whatever's going on, I totally accept it.
You kind of have to do that with any Square game, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything Japanese, really. Whatever's going on, I accept it.
I'm sure it'll be a great game regardless, where if you just go in blind, it'll probably you'll still really enjoy it.
I imagine, yeah.
Unless you hate Disney.
When I was a kid, I legitimately had like a like a beef with like this game happening. I was like, this isn't right at all. Like SquareSoft shouldn't be making a game with Disney characters in it. Like this is just wrong. uh, and then no one agreed with me about that.
There was probably people with you on that one, James.
Maybe until the game came out. And then I mean, Square owns plenty of studios now. They've got Crystal Dynamics working on the new Tomb Raider, the third one now.
No,
third.
incorrect.
Okay, I'm
It's,
sorry. Crystal Dynamics is making Avengers. The other company, the other studio that helped them with that is making the third one, right?
It's Eidos Montreal, I think is the name
Oh
of that
yeah,
studio.
didn't they make
working on-
Deus Ex?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
They made
yeah,
the
you're
most
right.
recent Deus Ex game.
So yeah, they're making Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Crystal Dynamics is apparently making an Avengers game.
Which we've seen nothing of, but was announced 2 years ago, maybe 3. So hopefully we get to see that.
Yeah, hopefully. Apparently there's another Tokyo RPG Factory game. If
Really?
so,
No, not really. There was that
Oh,
one that came out earlier
okay.
this year.
Lost
Lost
Sphere.
Sphere, yeah.
Thank you, Lost Sphere. That was actually released in Japan last year, and I
Okay.
think that their development cycle is pretty short, so I could see them
Hence
having
the name. Sorry.
exactly. And so yeah, I could see them showing something of it this year.
Okay.
I think Lost Sphere really did not do what they were hoping it was going to, so
Yeah.
maybe they've got a new ideas, a new spin. I don't know.
Hmm.
Having played Setsuna too, it was alright. You know, it didn't really blow my mind.
That's kind of what I heard about it
Yeah.
as well. And Lost Sphere was very similar to that. It was like this is
Very
fine.
Yeah. And then I mean we've got the rumors of Just Cause 4. I guess there's another Life is Strange as well.
Yeah. Donut is currently working on Vampire. Probably all hands on deck for Vampire right now. So it's possible we don't see anything of Life is Strange.
So,
The sequel.
so what is Vampire?
It's a game where you are a vampire that you you don't want to be a vampire like a doctor. You get turned into a vampire, and then you
Okay.
have to make a choice to hurt people or keep your your sort of morality and help people.
That's cool. And that's being published by Focus?
Yeah, I think it's Focus Home Interactive that's publishing that one.
Okay.
I think it's might come out before E3. I don't know. It's close
Okay.
though. They've been working on it for a while.
And I don't know what Left Alive is either.
It was some game. I don't remember a thing about it, James. I just remember that it got announced at. It was a big deal, and it got announced at Tokyo Game Show last year. I don't think we'll see anything of it. Its Wikipedia page has nothing on it. It's like
Okay.
Left Alive. It's a game coming out by Square. That's it.
Hmm. And
The shooter game.
Oh, okay.
The shooter.
And
So you're describing like 60% of all games.
I know. That's all. That's all it says here. It just says
Yeah,
it's a-
exactly.
and was that it? Oh, of course, Final Fantasy VII, which we might not even see anything about, really. I mean, I would be very
Yeah, I don't
surprised.
want to talk about Final Fantasy. I'm sorry.
It's cool.
No,
It's cool.
no, we can talk about it. It's
Nobody
fine.
nobody wants to talk about that. We're just gonna start an argument or something, or just like piss people off.
Oh, man.
Well, hopefully,
F-
this is what I feel like the best thing you could hope for is like maybe some kind of sort of clue as to what they're doing. I don't know.
It would be nice to like see more footage of the battle
Yeah.
system. That's really the only thing I'm
I completely
mean,
agree with
slash-
that.
worried
I think
about slash
everything we
interested in.
saw from PSX like 3 years ago was that? I don't even remember. I think it was 3 years ago.
Might have
Like I think that's all thrown away, man. I think because they switched
possible.
studios, and
It's
It
possible.
Yeah.
sounds like it.
I think that game got a hard reset, and probably almost nothing of it exists right now.
Wow. Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
Weren't they looking for people to like? They were literally looking to hiring developers and stuff like that. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
At the
they're-
beginning of 2017, or maybe I
Yeah.
think beginning of 2017, they were like, yeah, by the way, was it Arc System Works or something like that? I can't remember who was working on it before. They have been removed, and we are now hiring people to work on this game.
God.
System works. What else did they make?
I can't remember if it's Arc System Works.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh.
it's just like Arc System Works is one of those. It's whoever makes those narrative fighting games.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right, let's move on to Ubisoft, I guess. So, Massive Entertainment is making a Division sequel. That's already a sure thing. And I guess they might also be working on an Avatar game.
It's tough to know exactly what's going on with that Avatar game. It got announced a really long time ago that they said like, oh, this is the team working on it, but they're clearly, I mean, that's a big studio, but they're clearly working on Division 2. That's for sure going to come out this year.
I mean, that's probably requires a lot of manpower too, right?
Yeah.
It's a big game. So, and I mean, I'm sure there'll be a Just Dance. I don't really care about that, though.
No, me neither.
Watch
Come on,
Dogs-
do you guys want to get your boogie on?
No, I can't. I don't have any boogie. I don't got any boogie left. I've used up all my boogie in the last like 20 Just Dance games that came out.
Oh man, it's all gone.
All I think about when I think of Just Dance is like seeing the like entire like cabinet full of all the different versions of it at Walmart. Like it's like
Wow.
it's like video games and here's the Just Cause part.
Do you guys
Or,
remember?
sorry, just,
remember
Just Dance.
what is it like? Dance Dance Revolution Mario or something?
Oh yeah, that was
No,
the only
that's-
game in which Waluigi actually is like a villain and like does something villainous.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the only game.
That-
He like steals the rhythm stone, or I don't know what he does. He does something bad.
He's like the last. He's like one of the last bosses or something. He's like the main antagonist.
Do you have to have a dance off with Waluigi? Because like, I don't know why I haven't played that game yet. If you have a dance off with Waluigi in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got plenty of sequels here. I mean, Assassin.
CyberConnect 2, by the way. Sorry, I had to look that up. It's not Arc System Works.
I was gonna make a joke about that game Boogie on the Wii that like nobody remembers that EA made, but
That
we were
joke
ta-
would fall flat because I don't remember that game existing.
I was gonna say I used up all my Boogie on Boogie. Anyway, let's moving on. Lots of sequels. Watch Dogs 3, essentially Black Flag 2, Skull and Bones. I guess 3 really, because Rogue was a thing. New Splinter Cell. I'm assuming that's coming from Toronto.
We don't really know. Splinter Cell was just one of the, they've added DLC to Wildlands recently. That was is that Sam
Oh yeah,
Fisher?
yeah. Sam Fisher was in the new Ghost Recon. That's right.
And it was on the Walmart Canada leak.
Thank you,
So
Walmart. And then the new Assassin's Creed is going to be in ancient Greece, possibly.
that's a rumor. I don't really know what to expect from that. I don't like that was on the leak too. That's the only reason I have it there. I can't
okay.
imagine that
Oh.
they would put out another game, another Assassin's Creed game.
That's true.
You
They,
know,
they just
after
finished
taking a
Origins.
year off, like paid off so well for the last time. It makes no sense. to
Yeah,
me.
that's true. And then I don't know what Starlink or Wild are, to be honest. I don't.
Okay, so I'll just quickly go through. Skull and Bones and Starlink were both announced last year at Ubisoft's conference. Skull and Bones, yeah, it's the like pirate like multiplayer only game where you're like basically you're playing as a ship, and Starlink is this like game where it's like toys to life with you're like building a ship and putting it on your controller. They specifically showed like the Switch controller that you're like.
Okay.
So you're like building a ship and it's got different parts and stuff like that. Those two games though, I've heard like are completely MIA and Ubisoft is not talking about them basically ever since last conference. So it's not impossible that one or both of them have been canceled. We don't really know.
Starlink sounds kind of like Labo a little bit,
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
except cool,
Yeah.
kind of cooler.
Maybe there could be some sort of Labos. Maybe Nintendo got on the phone after
Yeah.
after seeing that and was, hey, wait, can you do something with us?
Yeah. I can see
And
that.
Wild is Michel Ancel's game that he was working on before Beyond Good and Evil. That we
Okay.
have no idea what the hell it's happening with it. It seems like you can like be different animals.
Oh.
It was announced a long time ago, and
Mhm.
they haven't officially canceled it. Michel Ancel still says that he's directing both of those games right now, but
Wow. That's ambitious. Because like Beyond Good and Evil 2 looks incredibly ambitious.
When's that supposed to come out? That's been in development
I
for a while, isn't it?
a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
And
think
considering the first one came out in what, the GameCube, PS2 era?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was
I
a
think there
sorry,
reset buttons hit on that project
probably
over and over
multiple
again.
times. Yeah, I know there was like a cinematic trailer way back in like the early PS3 360 days.
Hmm.
And then no one heard anything about it. But they refused to admit that it was canceled. And it turns out it wasn't. It turns out they have indeed
Well,
been working on it this entire
That
time.
seemed like it was a clear sequel. This is clearly a prequel of some sort. So
Yeah, and it's
whatever
completely
they were
different.
thinking, yeah, it's not the same thing.
It's going to be a lot of like space pirating type. Like, it
Cool.
looks cool though. Like you can like jump off of your ship and like jetpack onto a ship, steal a bunch of stuff, and then just like jump off that ship, get back to yours, and get away. Like that's the kind of stuff they're going for. It sounds pretty cool. And there's going to be like a bunch of like staff combat in it because that was a big thing in the first game. They actually released some development footage. I don't remember if it was on YouTube or I think it was on YouTube. It wasn't a ton, but it looked pretty cool.
Will you take pictures in this one? Do you think? Because that was part of the
Sure.
first game, right?
I'm sure there'll be some reference to that. I doubt it'll be like a main part of the game like it wasn't the first time.
No
around.
longer interested. I'm only in for the photography.
Let's play some. I guess I wonder if they got that from the Wind Waker because the Wind Waker did it first, right? Maybe not actually. Maybe that game came out around the same time.
Probably not too.
Although Majora's
much
Mask
time.
also
no,
had the
I think
pictograph.
Breaker's earlier than that. But
Well, Wind Waker was 2003,
yeah,
And
so
then
it's
they-
pretty early on.
and they got the idea for the pictograph from Majora's Mask, though. So I mean, whatever. Anyway, I just like to think that Zelda invented everything. Okay, finally moving on to Sony.
It's not finally at all.
And I'm super psyched for this. I think Sony has been fucking knocking it out of the park with their conferences these last few years. That's just me. But, I mean, Spider-Man looks great. I'm super looking forward to Last of Us 2 because I just finished that game not that long ago.
Oh, cool.
I don't really know any... Like, Days Gone looks a lot like a lot of other games to me. I don't know if I'm super on board with that yet. What about you guys? Have any thoughts? Crickets?
I guess I'll say something. I feel like I've seen these games too often now that their impact means less to me.
Sure, yeah.
So Days Gone, Spider-Man, Death Stranding, Dreams, man. I don't know how long Dreams has been in development, but like a lot of those games have been to. I think this is going to be their third or fourth E3 that they're at.
Mhm.
And like you can only go back to that well of like excitement so many times. I think Spider-Man looks fantastic.
Me too.
I'm excited that that's coming out this year. I really want to play that. But like Days Gone, which is not coming out this year, it's coming out next year sometime, maybe. And Death Stranding, which we have no idea about.
Yeah.
I can't like hold my breath for those games. Like
And Days Gone just really isn't, as far as I'm concerned, it's just really not setting itself apart from other games. Like, it's just another gritty, realistic zombie post-apocalyptic game. Like, okay, did we really need another one of those? Like,
it does seem strange to me that like Sony Bend, which has kind of been this like PSP Vita studio for so long and hasn't got a big project to do by themselves, like this was the thing that they wanted to do.
yeah,
Like after the last of came out, like it doesn't really make sense to me.
yeah. And then, I mean, honestly, I know what you mean about Death Stranding, but to me, that Game Awards trailer was so unique and strange and intriguing to me that I still want to see more of that game. I actually wasn't interested in it until I watched that trailer at the Game Awards, and I was just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
I like that line. That what was it like? There was an explosion, and then there was a second explosion.
Oh, yeah.
One that would end us all, or something like that.
and
Like
then he just keeps repeating that.
it was so good. That
It
trailer
was
is fantastic.
so cryptic and yet so intriguing at the same time. It was great. It was so unique. I was totally on board after I saw that. And he's got some big name actors too involved.
Mads Mikkelsen, the biggest.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. He's great. He's fantastic. He's one of the best Bond villains I've ever seen. So I mean, that counts for something.
Mad about Mads.
And then, I mean, I don't know anything about this Ghosts of Tsushima game by Sucker Punch at all, really.
I don't really think there is too much to know. Like,
okay.
there was a trailer at, I think it was Paris Games Week last year.
Okay.
It seems like that would have served them a lot better if it was at E3, because way fewer people saw it. As a result. Exactly. It seems like, some sort of samurai fighting.
Something.
Don't.
I like to think that I'm like kind of plugged into the industry and that I'm like not one of those people that only pays attention during E3. But then like when E3 comes around and I'm just like, oh yeah, like a bunch of other conferences happened and I have no idea what they announced at them. It's like, oh, maybe it's worse than I thought.
Exactly. You're better than me, man. That happens to me too.
That's hard too, because they take place some of them take place during the week. They've done a better job about pushing those back to the weekend so more people can see them, but it doesn't make sense that they used to all be on Monday and Tuesday. It's like, come on, guys. It's like everyone has to take Monday off work so they can see this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we can only take a week off to watch a video game trade show once a year, really. Like, that's the max. And I have done that. I have booked a week off to watch E3.
That's amazing.
The week spent.
It was.
Totally.
And so I mean, the only other thing really that's potentially coming out of Sony is we've got this possible game from the Japan studio, which are you talking about? I don't even remember his name. The guy who made The Last Guardian and Shadow of the Colossus. Is it?
No, because I think he's pretty much done working with them. I think it was
really?
once that was done, they were free. But I just listed it because they're done with all their projects as far as I know. Last Guardian came out 2016.
No, our Team Ico. Sorry, go ahead.
I think Team Ico got rolled into this.
Okay, so they are the same company basically at this point.
Yeah, it's a pretty big studio, I think, because they also did Gravity Rush 2, which came out last year.
Okay.
But we don't have anything announced for them, and they're really when you look around, it's like, well, Santa Monica's not going to announce anything because they just finished up.
Yeah, they
and
literally.
Sony doesn't. Sorry.
Never mind. I was just reiterating what you said. Go ahead.
And there's really not that many other big studio. Polyphony just finished up with Gran Turismo. They're not going to be announcing anything probably. And really, there's not that many other big studios around. And Guerrilla, I guess maybe Guerrilla, but I don't think so. Their game just came out last year too.
Yeah, they're probably making a sequel to that too. I feel like that's going to take a while.
Yeah. So I just think that if you were looking for that, we need this new announcement from a big Sony-related studio. It could come from them.
There's got to be some kind of surprise. I mean, there always is, right?
Right.
Usually.
And that's something that they kind of talked about last year after people were. I know you said you were really excited about their press conference last year, but it sounds like people were a little not as high as they have been in previous years. Where there was announcement after announcement, just crazy stuff happening.
I mean, it's hard to keep that momentum going, though. I mean, they literally announced Shenmue 3 and a remake of Final Fantasy 7 in the same conference one year. You can't top that.
I totally agree, but I think that if you think about last year's press conference and stick Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2 announcements into that press conference, it is another blow it out of the park type.
Yeah.
One of the greatest conferences ever type of thing. But because those were shifted to other trade shows throughout the year, it didn't quite impact the way they did. So I think that that's what they're doing right now, is that they're going to put all their chips into this basket.
I have noticed that there's just been less gaming news, really. There's less announcements in general. It just seems to all happen at E3 now, just in one big go.
It's where all the eyeballs are, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they're just not realizing that more and more. That it's just better to announce everything at E3. So
we're gonna talk about Nintendo.
We're
next,
finally
right?
talking about Nintendo. Yes.
So Rob, take us away, man.
Me? Oh God! Can I ask you guys? Ask you guys about something really random just before we get into that?
Sure.
What do you think about this new Atari VCS system?
I think it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I don't.
It seems odd,
It's not even Atari anymore. It's a completely different company that owns the name
Yeah.
Atari.
Yeah.
And now they're doing pre-orders on Indiegogo. Did you see that?
Oh man.
Yeah.
It does not bode well. It sounds like another like Ouya/Phantom situation to me.
Oh man, Phantom.
Yeah, remember the Phantom?
That was so good.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Best
there?
pump and dump scam ever.
It's just an odd thing. It's weird. I don't know. I seen a video of that recently, and I wanted to ask you about it. What you thought of it?
It
It
seemed to
was-
generate a lot of hype at first, because everyone was so into like the SNES Classic and everything. So everyone was like, "Oh, all these like if Nintendo is so successful at this, like maybe all these other companies are going to do it too."
Sure.
And then like Sega basically just re-released something they had already made, and and they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, it's a Genesis Mini," and it's like, no, it's not. It's not really.
Yeah.
Um,
Sega's done something like that before, like
Yeah.
you said.
I think wasn't there another company that announced a mini system? Or am I wrong?
There was that ColecoVision thing
Okay.
that it didn't end up being anything. Like that was just a scam, and people, whatever holding company owns Coleco, like pulled their support for it. That's the one that I
Okay.
can think of.
Didn't the Phantom end up having like a really crazy story behind it too?
I kind of read up on it afterwards. I think he was prosecuted. Like he was a prosecuted person that
Oh my
had done that
God.
kind of stuff before. You know, like it's
Yeah.
it's a classic pump and dump scam. They were like a penny stock that, tried to convince people they were going to be the next big thing, and then obviously there was nothing. That was never a thing. They just made it up.
Yeah. Anyway, Nintendo.
Yeah. Sorry. about that.
Oh no, it's cool. I've been sidetracking this entire time, if that's even a word. Yeah, we're at about an hour and 15 now, so I feel like after Nintendo we might want to wrap it up.
Okay.
Even though I'm
Just
sorry,
pick
John.
the best of the rest type of thing.
We could always do another video.
One game each of us want to
Yeah, you
talk
can always
about.
do like a part 2. You know.
Yeah, we could always do that for the lesser known publishers and stuff. Anyway, so Nintendo has a lot. I think they have a lot to prove this E3, really, because
They could potentially have the best show.
potentially, yeah. I mean, if they have enough surprises, because it's just like
Sure.
their first year was great, sure, and I mean it helped that they had so many Wii U games that they could just bring over. But I feel like they're running out of Wii U games to bring over, and I think Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild were both far into development before the Switch was even really a thing. So
Did you hear that they said that they're only going to be focusing on games being released this year at E3?
Well, Nintendo kind of has started doing that, haven't they? Like they don't like
Yeah.
talking about games that are not coming out very soon.
Except
they
for
just don't.
all of last year, where they announced Fire Emblem, Yoshi, Pokemon,
That's-
Metroid. None
that-
of those games have come out.
That
don't
is
have
that
their
is true.
release
I
time.
think that was, but I think that was really just like, oh, you guys should definitely buy a Switch because all this stuff's coming. Like we don't know when,
Oh, yeah.
but
That's true. You're right about that. It was their first year. They kind of have to do that thing. I just find that a
Yeah.
little emotionally dishonest.
no, you're right. You're totally right. But generally though, they don't like to announce, at least not anymore, especially after like Breath of the Wild was, in development for as long as it was.
Dragged around. So
It was
Yeah.
worth the wait, though. You
It
know,
was. It was.
at least Nintendo does seem to, even with something like Breath of the Wild, if it's dragged out, the games tend to be good. You know.
Oh, it's an understatement, I think.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, so we're actually close to finding out about Smash Brothers. This should be very exciting. I'm still. Have you guys changed your mind at all about whether or not this
Yeah,
will be a
I'm
remake?
curious to hear what John, what you
remake.
have to say. Do you think it's a new Smash or do you think it's support?
I think I had like a pretty strong opinion of it when it was like announced. I was like, yeah, this is a port for sure.
Me too.
But like as time has gone on, I'm kind of like, it's like, it could be either. Like
Yeah.
I definitely see that it could be a new game. There were rumors that Bandai Namco is once again working on it, and but I also don't think that people are like, oh, the Smash Invitational has Smash, Melee players. It's like, I don't think that because Armada is going to be there, that means that it's for sure a new game. Like,
Yeah.
I just the insanity of like, it's a port. No, it's not. Like,
I think what you said, James, you said this, and I thought this made a lot of sense, was that like you couldn't see them, especially because the Smash for Wii U is what, 3 years old? Something
Yes,
like that?
I think it'll be 4 years old by the time this game comes out.
But still, like it seems a bit hard to imagine, especially like I don't know, based on a lot of what Sakurai said, that they went ahead and built a whole new game.
That's what
You
I
know?
think. Yeah, like
It
not only
just seems so unlikely.
like he killed himself to make Smash 4. Like
Oh yeah.
kill yourself again, Sakurai. I don't care.
All the
if your fingers hurt.
balancing, like he personally balanced all the characters and all that.
didn't
Like
he like literally have to get surgery in his fingers because he was like typing away so much and like playing
something like
so
that.
much?
Yeah.
Like,
Something like
he's
that.
I really feel
devoted.
that. I am making fun of that, but I do feel terrible for that guy. It's like he died for ours.
He died for our
Enjoy
Smash.
this game. Thank you, Sakurai.
I personally think I'm gonna maintain this. I think it's like instead of like a quote unquote Smash 5, I guess you'd say, right? Smash 5. That it's like a Smash 4.5 kind of thing.
That's what I think too. Yeah,
You know, where
I think it's gonna be more of a like a deluxe version than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was.
yeah.
But I still think, in my heart of hearts, that it will be the same engine.
Yeah,
I just-
same. I could see them adding like some new characters, some new stages, maybe like a new mode, like a cool one-player mode would be
Yeah,
cool.
like an adventure
and
mode.
just and add all the content from both the DS version and the Wii U version,
Mhm.
and maybe even add Smash Run. That'd be cool. I like
That would be
Smash
great.
Run.
That'd be
you
really
know?
great. All right, come
And then and some kind of one-player mode would be cool. Like even if they just did that, it would be enough to justify the price.
on. Cameo.
Yeah, I think you're totally right.
Now you're making me, James, want to go kitty, but
She can't hear me. She can't hear you. Come on. Do it. Oh. Sometimes she does like a little hop until. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I think I would be very, very surprised. I've also said previously, like that engine was designed to have characters and stages added to it, so it just doesn't make sense to me that they would just throw that all away.
Yeah, and I felt like the game was very balanced, more so than previous entries. There's certainly more than Brawl and Melee, that's for sure.
I mean, they actually released patches to balance the characters, which never happened
yeah,
with the other ones.
And
So-
I think that's regardless of which camp you're in, I still think you can be excited about the possibility of not only getting this game, but then maybe getting long-term support, which is something Nintendo has shown with Splatoon 2, that they're continuing to support that game as time has gone on. I could imagine another year, 2 years, 3 years of
Totally.
new characters, new stages, that kind of
That'd be
thing.
great.
That would be really great. That would probably convince me to get a Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
And unfortunately, new Amiibo.
Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. Holy shit.
Yep.
There's gonna be
Probably
like
yeah.
they're probably gonna do like a whole new set. Oh my god.
Context for the audience and you, John, I have almost all the Smash character Amiibo. So that
Yeah,
means
he
I
has-
thought I was pretty much done, but I'm probably not going to be done.
Every time
I mean-
think about it, they pull me back in.
I've got like close to 20 myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I feel left out. I don't think I have any.
I
I'm missing 3 of them of all the characters.
Are they
quite a
very
few.
difficult, or are they ones that you just like are repugnant to you? You will not.
No, they were common at one point. Now they're hard to find. It's literally Kirby, Donkey Kong, or Kirby, Diddy Kong, and Toon Link. I know it's weird,
I have
but
2 of those. But they're not in the box.
anyway.
But yeah, the other sure thing we have is Octopath Traveler. That's
I
coming.
pre-ordered that.
Cool.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm jealous. I wish I had a Switch for that game. That is probably the game on Switch I most want to play, believe it or not.
Mhm.
It's this summer, is it not?
Yeah, it's coming out on my birthday, July 13th.
That's right.
Oh man.
So just the fact that it's like they're finally making a game that looks like Final Fantasy VI again. Like there really hasn't been for some reason, there hasn't been a game that really kind of like references that art style. So
And they've demo the demos that have gone out have been received very positively, and
I played it.
yeah, and I think that team is one to trust. They're the Bravely Second team,
okay.
and yeah, I just think that they kind of connect to that older style RPG very well.
Mhm.
I also played Bravely Default, and it was definitely a very good game. So I definitely agree with you, John.
I need
for
to try
sure.
that game. I mean, I've played the demo. I played the demo of the first one. Did you ever play the second one, Rob?
Bravely Second?
Yeah.
No, I never played it.
Hmm.
No.
I should check that out. I also heard a rumor that Bandai Namco was working on Metroid Prime 4. Is that something you've heard?
Are you? I don't know.
John? Sorry. Or either.
Yes.
either.
Yeah, that's the going rumor is that, and that's been confirmed by like multiple sources, multiple
Yeah.
legitimate sources.
Wasn't it
are
like a
saying-
LinkedIn profile or something? That was the first
Yeah.
leak?
I think that was the first, but then I think Eurogamer, like once that started going around, they were like, yeah, we've heard the same thing,
Yeah.
and that it was Ubisoft, Bandai Namco Singapore was working on it, and that since then they've kind of been a support studio to a Japanese studio. I don't know how the Bandai Namco studio structure works, but and with that same sort of rumor came the fact that they were making a new Ridge Racer, which would be exclusive to the Switch as well.
Okay. The only Ridge Racer I ever played was the one on the 3DS, which came out very early in that system's lifespan.
I just think that that's the numbered ones at least have been primarily like a PlayStation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that that's kind of a big deal for that reason.
I think the first Ridge Racer was like a really big PS1 game. Like it was like a tentpole release on that system.
Yeah, and when you're showing off the PSP, you got to talk about Ridge Racer. Man.
Yep, or the PS3.
Ridge Racer.
Ridge Racer. It's a deep. I wouldn't say it's a deep cut, but that's an old E3 joke at this point. It's very old. It happened like 15 years ago.
Kaz was doing them.
Yeah, is
You guys
Kaz
think
like?
we'll-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Because you were mentioning Metroid Prime. You guys think we'll see a trailer?
I hope so, but I'm not.
I hope
I
so
wouldn't
too.
say I'm holding my breath. I feel
I'll take an
like
image at this point,
We got an image.
Oh, well, all right.
We got a logo.
the game.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
the game.
I feel like that game's pretty early in development.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that game really commit to an online multiplayer mode.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I would love to see like Metroid Prime 2 multiplayer come back.
Yeah, I was just going to say 2 had multiplayer.
It was good too. Like I played it quite a bit. It was actually a really good multiplayer. It had some cool ideas. Like there was like morph ball cannons that would send you to the other side of the stage. You could like get like this big turret. Like you'd walk into a hologram and this big turret would come out of the ground and you could like shoot bombs across the stages. It was crazy.
Cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was really
I've
fun.
never played that. Great.
And like there was like really cool power-ups you could get too. I think there was one that turned you into like the death ball, which was like a morph ball with all this energy coming out of it that would just like kill people.
Yes.
It was cool. I used to play with my sister a lot actually.
Nice.
When I could convince her to play it with me.
You just always beat me. F this.
Yes, exactly.
So I was thinking, I do like I don't want to be a downer to Nintendo. I really do love Nintendo.
Okay.
But I do feel it's a little dishonest if this is true, that Bandai Namco is the primary or only developer on this game. That last year they were talking about how it was an internal studio. If that was just never true, maybe it was true at one time, and it just sort of lends, to my perception that I don't know that they just don't care about Metroid.
No.
That it's just like whatever, give it off to
They really don't.
someone else. Like they just don't have any ideas for it. They don't care about it. It's just like give it off to whoever.
I really liked, well, why can't I think of it? The one that just came out for the DS.
Federation Force? Oh no.
What?
Wow.
No, not that one. Oh God, no. Let's not talk about that one.
Samus
Pretend that
Returns.
didn't happen.
Samus Returns.
Hunter?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, same thing. Samus Returns. That one's really good. I feel.
It was.
Right, but that was not developed internally, right?
No.
Like
Oh, I
I'm
know that. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
uh,
that guy was involved though. Yoshio Sakamoto was involved.
right.
I mean, at least. A
But I
little.
do feel like and I don't think that like they can be bad games. Like I even think that like Retro was kind of that. It's just like what like what had they done for that? They were known as like the party studio basically that like had to be brought in line at that point in time, and like it's
Really?
like I'll give Metroid. We don't know what to do with that.
The party studio.
Yeah,
I wish I
terrible
worked
story,
there.
like prostitutes and stuff like that.
What?
And,
Really?
yeah, go look it up. It's crazy.
Wow. Damn. I remember. What was the one that was like that too in that book? Was it Ensemble? That was kind of like a frat boy kind of environment.
Yeah, I think that Ensemble, yeah, with yeah, that was very much people who had been there for a long time kind of ruled the roost, and it was
Yeah.
like do it our way, and
Yeah.
don't.
But I mean,
Let's develop this game that Microsoft doesn't really set up, doesn't want us to make.
yeah, that was a funny story. Okay, they literally just made a game that Microsoft like did not even want them to make, and like they were like Microsoft was like funding this studio, and they were like, yeah, whatever, fuck them, like let's just make it anyway.
So basically, it seemed like they were all playing World of Warcraft at the time, and they were like, we want to make World of Warcraft, and Microsoft was like, we don't want that game. Please make this instead. And they're like, we're just gonna make Mario.
I don't know about that. I think this is a better idea. So what like? Do you think Retro's working on something? Do you think something might get announced by them?
They're for sure working on stuff. I mean, the only rumor I've heard was from a few years ago that said that they were working on their own IP, a new project. But that was a really long time ago, and it feels
Yeah.
like they've been working on something for a long time. Since then you've heard stuff that maybe there's power struggles going on in the studios. People have left
Yeah.
at the top of it, and new people have been come in to maybe rein things in. I don't know.
That's kind of
And
sucks.
of course, there's that post by what was it, like Nintendo of Italy, that said like it's like there's no Donkey Kong Country 2 without 3 or something like that. They basically implied that it was going to be the third Donkey Kong Country game, but who the hell knows if that would be done by them, or B, if it's actually happening or not.
I mean, it's really dependent on whether Tropical Freeze actually does well this time around.
I think it's gonna.
I hope it does, because that's a great game.
It sold like 90,000 in its first week in Japan, which is better than I expected.
Well, Japan likes Donkey Kong. I was going to say before, like, Japan just doesn't like Metroid. Like, Japan never buys Metroid games. And I think that's the reason why Nintendo of Japan just doesn't give a fuck about it.
I think that Donkey Kong and Metroid are kind of bedfellows there, though.
A little bit,
and
yeah.
you're right that Donkey Kong has been more popular. Like, there have been more successes than, like, more bigger successes than that. But I do feel like Donkey Kong is like, we don't really know what to do with Donkey Kong. Make a game where you're playing bongos and like.
I was literally just about to mention that. Like, that was probably the most Japanese Donkey Kong ever made, and like I feel like that game was purely made to make him more popular in Japan.
Yeah, and I think it was like we don't really have a clear idea of what to do with this character. Let's just try things, right? Let's let people try things. Let's do like Barrel Blast and have.
I forgot that game even existed. Wow. I've never played that game.
I'd love to see a new Wario game. Not
That'd be cool.
WarioWare, though.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Although a WarioWare with the Joy-Cons could be interesting.
Yeah.
WarioWare smooth moves
Wario
too. But yeah, the Wario Land or Wario World game would also be cool. Like,
That'd be awesome.
they should make like a co-op game where you can play as Waluigi. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much untapped potential with Waluigi. I feel like Nintendo doesn't realize how much people like Waluigi.
Oh, yeah.
He's
so
good.
true.
Because he's
Just
really
make him canon. Come on, he's so good.
Yeah,
That's
he
great.
is so good. Like, he'd make and I feel like the opportunity is because his character really isn't hugely developed, that you could just make a really unique game with
Oh
him,
yeah, he's
something completely different. Which would be cool.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's part of his charm. That like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
so mysterious that it's
Yeah.
like, why is this lanky weirdo hanging out here?
I saw this joke once. I don't remember where I saw it, but they were making a joke about how like like Wario calls up Waluigi and he's like, "Yo, I've got like this evil scheme. I was hoping you could like get in on it." And he's like, "Nah, just let me know when you're like playing tennis or going go-karting or something."
He's
you
doing
also
his
have
own
to.
thing.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I had nothing to add to that. I just thought it was a very funny comment.
I am excited for the Yoshi game. The
Yeah.
new Yoshi game.
I
It looks really cool.
Tell us all about it, Rob. What's going on with that Yoshi game?
Just looks cool. That's all. I
Okay.
don't know. I really enjoyed Yoshi's Woolly World, and I love that it's got the aesthetic of Yoshi's story.
Same
Yeah.
studio, right?
I believe so.
Is it?
That's
Is
what
it?
makes me worried. It's going to take a while because that game took forever to make.
Yeah, but look at the art style of that though.
I think the
Yoshi-
art style is why that game took so long to make. I think they
Yeah.
like were just very meticulous in creating that game. Same with
Just,
Kirby's
uh,
Epic Yarn.
We got the engine. Just pump that out.
I
Have it
By
out
the
this
way, I played quite a bit of that of Kirby Star Allies, and that's quite good, especially the co-op. The co-op's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's a game I might be getting on the Switch soon.
I honestly thought you had it for some reason, but it looks
No.
great. Yeah, it looks quite fun. Yeah, I can't help but like add that I just would like. I don't know. I feel like I'd like to see like a Superstar style, like fully 2D hand drawn Kirby game again.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about these 3D Kirby games. They just all kind of blend together for me a little bit.
This one's really fun though. I think you'd actually like it because you could definitely there's definitely elements of Kirby Superstar,
Hmm.
especially with like having the second player play as one of
Yeah, that was
play as-
always a great part
Yeah.
of that game. And
and then it also kind of combines elements of Kirby 64 as well, which is cool.
yeah, I like that you can combine powers and stuff. And it does look very fun in terms of like co-op. Does it have like a lot of mini games?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you know
I
that.
mean, I
That's
didn't
right.
play a ton.
I'm assuming you
I-
own it for some reason.
No, I played it at actually the Nintendo World Store in New York City with my friend
Oh,
Ned.
jeez.
It was pretty awesome. It has a pretty big world map on it, which kind of actually reminded me of Super Mario World.
Really?
As weird as that sounds, yeah. So it looks like there was a ton of levels, and they had like kind of like in Super Mario 3D 3D World, how you could go to
Yeah.
like it had like the for example the slot machines and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it looked like
Yeah.
it had a couple different mini games, but I just didn't have time to explore all of them. That's all.
I don't remember
So-
ever playing a Kirby game where I was really like, this is a really cool map screen. But
Yeah.
that actually sounds cool. Except for maybe Dynablade. That's like the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Um,
My point with the map screen though is like it looked like there was a ton of levels and a ton of content, so it didn't look
That's
like
good.
just like some,
cool.
I would hope so for $60.
Yeah, exactly. I'm even more up here.
Yeah.
So we've covered Ridge Racer, Metroid, Yoshi. I really don't have anything to say about Fire Emblem. I've never really played those games that much. I played the first one that came here on GBA, but that's about it.
Pikmin 4, do you think that'll finally like that was announced a while ago, wasn't it?
I guess I completely forgot, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that I think we've ever heard about it was when Miyamoto was asked. He said Pikmin 4 is nearly complete.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was 3 or 4 years ago now.
Yeah, he just like nonchalantly said it.
Yeah, we don't know. It's not announced. We don't know anything about it. He was just like, yeah, it's almost done.
And
You're gonna be seeing that game soon. It's like, okay, I guess.
Pikmin 3
So
was...
that's why I put it on the list because
But has it? My question, John, do they know he like? We know for sure he wasn't talking about Hey Pikmin, was he?
I mean, I don't think Hey Pikmin was developed in turn. I mean, I guess like
Hmm.
it's the kind of
I
thing
don't
where it
think it
totally could have been a mistranslation.
Maybe. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey
But-
Pikmin was, wasn't it that company that makes all the Yoshi games? Artoon? Is that it?
I don't.
Oh, sorry. That was a complete guess. But,
Hey,
hey, Pikmin.
there's an exclamation mark after Hey.
It's true.
Hmm.
Yelling at the Pikmin.
But yeah, I mean, Pikmin 3 was delayed for a super long time. That was supposed to be a Wii game, and then it was supposed to be a Wii U launch game, and then it didn't even make launch.
Wow.
Yeah, Arsis is the name of the company that made that game.
Arsis. That sounds familiar for some reason. For some reason.
The Mario and Sonic at the Rio
Oh.
2016 Olympic Games for the 3DS. they made Yoshi's New Island for the 3DS.
Oh, right. That game was not well received. I didn't think it was terrible, but from what I played of it anyway. But
I thought it was pretty good, but it didn't blow me away either.
yeah, that's what I thought too, kind of. And
I would describe it as not blowing me away. Yeah.
And then, I mean, they have confirmed that Pokemon is not a Sun and Moon upgrade. It's basically a brand new game. But that's pretty much all we know. And I would be very surprised if we saw it this year.
I've heard so many rumors about it. It's crazy. Like the internet's
Really?
just nuts.
I mean,
nuts
it is
over
Pokemon,
it.
I guess, right?
Some people think it's a Red and Blue remake.
They've done that once already, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, they totally have.
but that's been like one thing. I don't know. There's
I mean, if it's, I mean,
stuff.
if this is a brand new HD game, that kind of warrants a Red and Blue remake. I could still see that happening.
Yeah. Some people think it's a Diamond and Pearl remake.
Who cares about Diamond and Pearl?
I don't know. I don't know.
Those were the
And then
games that
there's some
like
people who
turned me
think
off the
it's like
series.
Pokemon Stars,
That-
suns and stars.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a rumor a long time ago, though. I don't know if that's
Yeah, I don't know if
holds
that's
any
still-
water at this point, because they basically confirmed that it's not going to be like the Emerald to Sun and Moon's Ruby and Sapphire kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So it was Eurogamer that posted that, and basically it seems like what they've said since is that they saw the Sun engine up and running on the Switch, and
Okay.
or someone they knew saw that and was like, "Hey, this is a new game they're making." I saw it.
So they were probably just experimenting or something, right?
Yeah, it seems like they were getting that, seeing what it looks like, kind of.
Mhm.
Now, call me crazy.
Okay. You're crazy.
But you guys both have played Pokemon, correct?
Of course.
A little bit, yeah.
I am a little worried because the studio that makes this, whose name I totally can't remember,
Game Freak.
Game Freak, really has not done HD development ever.
Didn't they make no,
Don't say
Tembo the Badass
That
Elephant.
does not count. No, that is not a fully HD realized world.
What about Pokken Tournament?
That wasn't them, I don't think. That was
No, that was
the
No.
guys who made Tekken, wasn't it?
Tekken.
Oh,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah, duh. I'm sorry. Duh. Yeah.
I was totally gonna say Tembo the Badass Elephant, and I think that game
I
is
knew,
totally.
I knew you were just gonna say it because that's the only thing they've worked on that's not Pokemon related. Recently.
It's a pretty good game. I haven't played it a ton, but I have it on Steam. I think I played it like once or twice, and
I could
Yeah.
also see it having a similar art style to like X and Y and
yeah, definitely.
Sun and Moon. You know.
I would hope at least. I'm not gonna say more photorealistic, but like maybe a little less anime. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
It'd be kind of
that
nice.
people- sorry, that just people, like I think that Breath of the Wild very much felt like it's like let's just try this, like let's
Mhm.
get away, let's not worry too much about like what we've done in the past. Let's just
Mhm.
try this totally new thing from the ground up.
Could you imagine if they did that with Pokemon?
Exactly. And I feel that's kind of not dissimilar from what they did with Odyssey, where it's like, oh, okay, well, we did with 3D World and Galaxy. It's like, let's not worry about this. Let's just let's do something that we want to do. We
Yeah.
really
I hope
want
they
to
do.
make a 3D exploration game instead.
Yeah.
I worry that people are expecting that now, maybe out of Nintendo's biggest franchise, that it's like, this is totally going to flip the table, and it's going to be something totally different, and it's going to be, it's going to be this huge adventure with, you're climbing mountains and stuff. I don't know. And I just feel like it's like, I think that they're very comfortable in the games that they make.
Mm-hmm. Game Freak, you
Yeah.
mean, specifically?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they have really not even changed up the formula since Red and Blue, as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's the same basic game. They may have added
Just-
layers to it, but like,
Yeah.
it's the same game. That's why I lost interest in the series around Diamond and Pearl, because it just hasn't. They haven't done exactly what you said. They haven't taken a risk and changed it up and done something different.
I thought X and Y was really good. In my opinion, I think X and Y are two of the or that gen is probably in the top 3 for me in terms of Pokemon gens.
Yeah,
I love what they did with the IVs and the EVs and the super training and like the Pokemonomy where you can like pet them and the affection actually like affects how like they can how the Pokemon can perform in battle, and
Mhm.
I don't know, the leveling up isn't really as arduous and seems a lot, I don't know, seems a lot not easier, but like not I don't know how do I want
Not
to
as
say it?
tedious.
Not as tedious, yeah. It's
Okay.
certainly not as tedious.
I mean,
I don't know. And the wonder trading I thought was really cool. How you can just get like a random
that is
Pokemon.
actually.
So
I mean, yeah. To be honest, I did not give those games a chance.
yeah.
I kind of was just done with Pokemon by then. Um,
Honestly, I think you should really should give X and Y or even and so I guess Sun and Moon. A lot of people didn't like it, but they got rid of like gym battles for some reason. I
oh,
didn't play Sun and Moon, yeah.
I
So
I played
it's
them a little bit and then I got rid of it.
yeah, they actually did mess with the formula a little bit more
And
in
just
Sun
like
and
throw
Moon.
it out the window. I traded
Yeah,
it. I
what
traded
the
it
hell?
in.
Got rid of it.
Well, I think I may have pawned it actually
Oh.
because I just wasn't playing it. Um, but it's weird that Pokemon Go was the only thing that got me back into Pokemon after all
Mhm.
those years. But it was so short-lived, and it really was only because it was such a social thing. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
X and Y got me back into Pokemon. That they certainly did. And then and then also Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby were really good
I
too.
actually still have never played those. I really want to though,
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
because I mean I
They're very
played
good.
lots of Ruby. um, but I could see this new one getting me back into it if it's like just the fact that it's going to be a fully 3D HD game. I mean, like I know Game Freak hasn't done that before, but um, I mean maybe they'll get help from another studio or something. I don't know. I
Now,
mean,
do you think they could do something sort of like a Switch version of Pokemon Go? Does that make any sense?
well, the Switch doesn't have a GPS in it, does it? I
I
mean,
don't think
I
so.
don't think it
But
does. I mean,
I don't really think it needs to
yeah.
be that kind of thing, though. I
yeah.
don't think it needs like it's like okay, this is where the EV is, and you need to get here. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't know that. It's just like now you encountered an EV. Like you walked 50 feet. This is what
Yeah.
you get. Kind of randomized type of thing. I do. I think that, yeah, I could see that working. I just think that people would be kind of done with that. Like, it would be a gimmick that people would be done with. They're like, I did this. I did this 2 summers ago. I remember.
Yeah.
I walked around everywhere.
Yeah, plus it's such a big thing to carry around. It's not like a cell phone. You can't just like be carrying around your Switch everywhere kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
Um, but if they made another version of the Switch that had cellular data and a GPS in it, then that would be much more of a possibility. I could definitely see it because that game is still making a lot of money.
Mhm.
So, I mean, obviously people are still somebody's playing it. I don't know who, but somebody is.
Oh, Pokemon. Yeah, there
Yeah.
are still people who are playing it.
Yeah.
It's my at this point most anticipated game for the Switch, even over Smash.
Mhm.
Just because of the potential. I just hope, like you said, it doesn't fall short. You know, that would be unfortunate.
Oh, Pokemon, you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, Pokemon.
I was
yeah.
waiting in anticipation.
No, Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in terms of potential, I think I might be on board with you there. Like, if they do it right, a new Pokemon, the first console Pokemon, I mean, we've been waiting for this for how long?
Oh, yeah,
more
yeah.
than like 20 years at this point. So, I mean, it's pretty great that we're actually getting one. We've been asking for it for long enough.
hmm There seems to be a lot of people that think it's going to come out this year. I don't know about that.
I'd be so
Yeah.
surprised. It's possible.
Yeah, I would be too.
I don't know, man. I mean, they've got Smash. Like, why bother?
Yeah.
Like, why crowd the market? Like, if Nintendo seems to be doing anything this generation, it's spacing out their releases and doing it in a way so that they're not having these droughts. And
Mhm.
that seems smart to me.
Oh yeah. It wouldn't make any sense to release Metroid Prime and Pokemon and Smash all in the same year.
Hmm.
You know, it just wouldn't make any sense. You know.
No, it's
I
just
don't know.
cutting. That'd be like releasing Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1 in the same month. Anyway.
That would make sense. It worked out great last year when, you know, Breath of the Wild was released earlier and then Mario Odyssey later on in the year. So maybe they could do something like release Metroid earlier in the year or something and then Pokemon or vice versa, right? But
Gotta tell you, Rob, it is earlier
Yeah, I
in
was
the
gonna
year.
say.
Yeah, touche.
I don't see any Metroid sitting around yet.
Touche. I guess I was thinking next year. Sorry.
No, that could happen. Like I could see Smash at the end of this year, Metroid early next year, Pokemon at the end of next
Yeah,
year.
that's more what I meant. Yeah.
And then Pilot Wings, right in the middle.
Do it, do it, Nintendo.
What, Pilot Wings?
I'm all in. Pilot Wings, biggest.
And also, I have to say it, Mother 3.
Oh my God, seriously, guys. Like, okay, so for the Nintendo Switch Online, instead of 10
Yeah,
NES
I was going to
games,
ask you to talk about this. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I feel like we should discuss this a little too, just because
Yeah.
like I needed to
Go
rant
ahead.
about this on my channel at some point. So
Yeah.
like, could you imagine if for the Nintendo Switch Online, instead of 10 NES games, we got like Mother 3 or I don't
Yeah.
know how many other games that haven't come out here. Like, I don't
Sure.
know. Like, there's so many better options they could have chosen anything that they haven't released 5 times already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No
I
way.
completely agree
Tennis,
with you.
man. That's what's gonna reel them in.
It's like ice climbers and soccer and
Golf.
frickin' golf. I mean, golf's not bad. I kind of like golf actually. But
Mario Bros, which is fine, but you could play Mario Bros like
yeah, the original
any-
Mario Bros. I don't know. Like, I'll play it in an
Ice
arcade,
Climbers,
but like,
that sucks. That game is terrible.
what, Mario Bros?
No, Ice Climbers.
Oh man,
Fuck
yeah,
that game.
that's a bad game. It's genuinely a bad game.
Love the characters, hate the game.
What were we talking about just before Mario Brothers? I was gonna say something. Damn it.
Mother.
No, that wasn't it. Oh well. I think it was an NES
No,
game.
you were talking about instead of having instead of releasing the same like games, having games we haven't gotten like Mother, you know. Mother
Yeah, or
3.
just really anything other than these NES games that they have tried to sell to us over and over and over. Like,
Yes.
they released them on the Game Boy Advance, they had them in Animal Crossing, then they had them on the Wii, then they had them on the 3DS, then they had them on the Wii U, then they had them on the NES Mini. Like, how much do they think these games are worth, really?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Like, how good do they think these games are? It's
They're good, but I don't know if they're like buy them 7 times good, you know.
Yeah. And I
You
hear
know.
people making the argument that, like, oh, well, you know, if you bought every game individually for $5, it's actually more expensive than it would be to pay the yearly fee. But, like, does anybody want to pay $5 for an NES game anymore? Like, who thinks they're worth that anymore?
Hopefully they'll see, you know, the response to it, and
That's what worries me. I don't think the
Yeah.
response is going to be that negative. I think a lot of people are going to get this just to play Smash Online.
yeah, that's very true.
They
I
timed
don't-
it perfectly.
When I think about, you know, people's biggest, I think, defense of it is that it's cheap, right? Like it's a lot cheaper than their competitors, which is I think it's more than 60 now. I think it's gone up to 65 for PS.
PS Plus.
PS
I don't know.
Plus
I mean, I pay
and-
$12 a month for it. I don't get the yearly subscription.
Right. So you can kind of
So-
pick and choose what you want.
Yeah, and that's pretty pricey.
Exactly. But I do, for me personally, as someone who does not own the Switch, but is looking to get the Switch at some point in time,
Mhm.
maybe this year, maybe next year, I don't know. It feels like it's like I would rather pay more personally and get new games or
I
get
agree.
more exciting things than like you know, like I love golf. It's a fun game, but it's never gonna be like, oh shit, I can
Yeah.
play golf right now.
Plus,
Like,
I played that game to death in Animal Crossing like 15 years ago. Like, I'm not gonna play it again, even if it has online. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Satoru Iwata programmed that entire game himself.
Wow. Rest in
Was that-
peace.
Did you guys ever see that thing that they built that into the Switch firmware?
Yeah, as a tribute, that was
And
great.
they pulled it because no one realized it. No one put it together in time. So,
Well, I thought people realized it, and then they pulled it like not long after that.
but it was after the date that it would have been.
Oh.
So because it was on the day of his death, right? And
Right.
so it was like no one
Okay.
figured it out time. It was after, and so
Oh.
they didn't wait. It didn't let people like wait a year and all do that thing.
Oh, I see.
You know.
Because people set it to that date, right? Is that what
But it
happened?
was only if you had not connected it to the internet. So it had to be a brand new Switch, basically.
Interesting.
If you set it to that date, then you could do it.
Wow. Okay. I love how you
Well,
actually had to do the motion with your hands too.
Yes. So
That was great.
Hey, the good news though, James, is that if we're not getting a virtual console and whatever,
Mhm.
apparently they have like hacked it, or they're very
Yes.
close to.
I mean, I'm probably just gonna get a Switch. Like here's what I'm predicting happens. Because the Tegra has a hardware level exploit, Nintendo is going to make a revision sooner than later. When they
Yeah.
do, the price of the original Switch is either gonna go down or it's gonna go up on Kijiji or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I will get one and I will hack it, and that'll be that. And I'll be
Nice.
happy with my Switch.
There you
Well,
go.
And I mean, I don't want to do that, but I mean, I've bought a lot of Nintendo games over the years. Like, I don't really feel like I owe them anything at this point.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Like, especially if it's for games that I have paid for sometimes more than once. Like, I just,
Oh yeah.
I don't feel bad about it at all. I really don't. That's just me.
I'm looking right now at my TV and I see a Wii, the Switch, the Super NES, the GameCube, the Wii U, and the N64 is upstairs.
Wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
So no Virtual Boy is what you're saying.
No Virtual Boy, man. Oh, the
Is there?
NES is upstairs too.
I think I could be wrong, but I believe there's a Virtual Boy emulator for the HTC Vive.
Oh, that would be so cool.
It would, wouldn't it? I totally want
It
to
would
try
hurt
that.
your eyes so bad to play
Probably.
anything for any length of time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think that Wario game is supposed to be okay for that, actually.
Yeah, Wario Land. What was it called? Wario Land VB,
I don't know, something like
Virtual Wario Land. I feel like we've gotten a little off track here.
that.
Yeah.
Insanely out there.
Maybe
It
we
was
should
fun.
wrap it up. It is getting
Yeah.
pretty late.
Yeah. I mean, the only things that are probably going to be there are maybe more Labo games, Bayonetta 3, and I guess they might have a Shin Megami Tensei game.
I think that is actually SMT5. I think they announced that. It was just one of those
Okay.
games that got. Do you remember there was like a trailer when they first showed the Switch off and they're showing off their new games? There was like a CG trailer for an SMT game. That's
Okay.
just why I put it there.
All right. Well, there you go.
I don't know why it didn't end up in the Sega Atlas section of the document,
Oh.
like
Well.
just because that's not how my brain worked, I guess.
Whatever. All right. Well, yeah, that pretty much covers Nintendo. I guess if you guys are up for it, we could totally make another video covering the lesser known non-big conference games.
I'm well. I mean, yeah, I'm down for that, Rob. I don't
How about you,
know.
Rob?
I mean, you guys
Late.
could always, I would not be down to do it tonight, but if you
Oh, no,
guys
no.
want to.
Oh, no, that's for time.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I guess like you probably don't know a ton of these games, right?
You guys could always do a part 2 without me, but I would definitely be down to do like a post E3 video if you guys want.
Oh, for sure. We're definitely doing
That would be
that.
fun.
I'm hoping to get my buddy Phil in on this at some point too, actually, so we could have like a full like panel discussion kind of thing.
Cool, nice.
Get people from all walks of gaming life.
There we go.
But this was fun. This was a great discussion.
It's great. I'm sorry I didn't have a whole ton to say in the beginning, but
Oh no, it's cool.
we were good.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, sorry I like structured it in a way that was like
No, it was fine.
tons of time and then Nintendo at the end.
I also found it interesting to listen to, like with stuff that I didn't know as well. So I like learned a little bit, which is good. Learning,
Yeah.
yay.
Learning is fun. So yeah, I'm glad. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope you did too. That was 2 hours. So if you made it this far, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Like and
You're
subscribe
going to
for
be
more.
putting in
Smash the-
timestamps, is that right? So for every
oh,
game that we talk about,
yes.
and so on.
Okay, not every game, no, but I'll put a timestamp for each publisher. That's a good idea.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, James.
I will do that.
Much like the game that we all anticipate, smash that like
that
button.
subscribe button.
Smash
and
that
the like
subscribe button.
And the bell, if you feel so obliged.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I hope this was a fruitful discussion for all. I don't know.
You don't know how to end this, huh?
I'm so bad at ending videos.
Thank you,
next
everyone,
time, guys.
for listening.
Thank you.
And we'll hope to see you next time.
There you
Peace.
go.
Good night.
Goodbye.